The American classic To Kill a Mockingbird has had a lot of lives since its 1960 debut. It's been translated into 40 different languages. 45 million copies have been sold worldwide. It was made into a film with Gregory Peck, a stage production, and in the latest iteration, Aaron Sorkin puts a new twist on the painfully relevant fictional story of Tom Robinson, a black man tried in 1930s Alabama for a rape he did not commit. And Atticus Finch, the white attorney charged with defending him, is told through the eyes of Finch's young daughter Scout, her brother, and a friend. It's at the Citizens Bank Opera House through this coming Sunday. I saw it last week. Believe me, you should too. I'm joined by Emmy Award winner Richard Thomas, who plays Atticus Finch, and Yaegel T. Welch, who plays Tom Robinson. Gentlemen, congratulations on two terrific performances.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Richard, do you remember the first time you read To Kill a Mockingbird and what your reaction was?
Yeah, well, I read it in middle school, like a lot of people, and that time of life, the early teen years, adolescence, is when kids are starting to develop a sense of community and civic identity and fairness and justice and injustice, and begin to get exercised about issues larger than their own private lives. And so it's a perfect opportunity to read it for the first time. But I read it again to prepare for this. And I got to tell you, anybody who loved that book when they read it as a young person, read it again as an adult, because it's even richer, more complex, I think.
Couldn't agree more. Yaegel, do you remember the first time you read it and how you reacted to it?
Yeah, I read it at first in middle school, like Richard, and I think my initial reaction was I connected mostly to the children and the coming-of-age story. Now I connect to different issues in the play. I think at one point in time I saw it as a sort of capsule in time, and now I see it as something that is still presently happening in some ways. But I remember connecting to the mystery of Boo Radley the most, and just being afraid of what was unknown. So yeah.
Same reaction here as well. Richard, this production, for those who haven't seen it yet, is a different kettle of fish in many ways. Could you describe some of those ways?
Well, it's theater. So, it's not like reading a book, and it's definitely not like seeing a film. And the way Aaron Sorkin has written it in this beautiful adaptation is it's purely theatrical. There are theatrical devices, and you're in the theater watching having a theatrical experience. And beyond that, I think he's within the spirit of Harper Lee. Absolutely, I think he's broadened things out. He's certainly brought into focus, I think, things in the source material that speak to us directly today. I mean, this is a self-portrait. This piece of material is a self-portrait of America, for better and for worse. Our finest aspirations and how far we fall short.
Yaegel, in addition to that, I read a piece that Aaron Sorkin was interviewed in The Atlantic a few years ago, and he refers to the portrayal of the black characters as, quote, atmosphere, anonymous. You and Jacqueline Williams, as the brilliant Calpurnia, are anything but anonymous in this version. That's a big difference too, no?
Yeah, the book and the movie sort of use them as devices, and in some ways, decoration, or as tools to aid in the white characters' growth. And we don't really hear from their families or hear their voices. In the play, we actually they get agency. They get a sense of dignity. We get to learn who they are. They become a little more fleshed out, a little more three-dimensional. Which makes it all the worthwhile in terms of why we do it, and I think it helps to make this play resonate more with minority communities, because we know who these people are as much as we know who the Finch family is.
Yeah, and speaking of the Finch family, Richard, your Atticus Finch is no longer a flawless white savior.
It's very important. I mean, one of the things that Aaron has done to enrich the material, still, as I say, in fulfilling Harper Lee's spirit, is to make Atticus not only a hero figure in the fact that he goes through a journey, but if the story is a lot about the loss of innocence of the children, it's also now about Atticus's loss of innocence. And he's just a guy going through this journey. Aaron has given him a wonderful human journey. So he never stands with above anybody else in the play. There's no he's not a saint. He's certainly not a white savior. because he does a lot of wrong things for the right reasons. But he's a person like everybody else in the play, and that makes it so much more enriching to play.
You know, you both touch on this, but Richard, starting with you, I'm sitting there during intermission and I'm saying to myself, the best part of this version is how relevant it is today, and the worst part of this version is how relevant it is today. That's got to be with you in every performance in your head, is it not?
It is. It's a real journey because the play works on you as, from the Atticus perspective, from the Atticus chair, about a story about a man trying to raise his children with Calpurnia, and a story about social justice. And both of these aspects are constantly working on me throughout the play. And as I'm sure they work on Yaegel and everyone else in the play, you cannot but be affected because this stuff is happening. This is our present moment. And it's a beautiful picture of how aspirational we are as a country, but it's also a very devastating picture of how far short we fall of those aspirations. You know, and can we look at reality and still maintain our ideals? You know, that's his dilemma, certainly.
You know, Yaegel, I saw an interview you did, a little video you did with Melanie Moore, who plays Scout also brilliantly in your production. And you said something like your hope was, or your belief maybe was, that people were going to leave having seen this different from how they came in. Do you really believe that?
I do. One of the, if I could say, one of the good things that came out of COVID was, and I'm not saying there's much, but one of the good things is that we all got to sit at home and sort of have a moment where we all connected. And I think that was when George Floyd was murdered, you know, on camera, and we all had to witness that together. And the way in which that particular moment in time brought so many people together, all of a sudden there was this sort of cultural unity and sense of empathy for something happening in a community. And it didn't matter whether you were Black or not. There were white people, there were Asian people, there were Hispanic people, there were Jewish people, there were Muslim people, all out at those marches protesting this injustice that happened. And I think what seeing To Kill a Mockingbird does is it puts this incident, this obviously innocent man is on trial for something he couldn't possibly have done. Yeah. And he's essentially about to be lynched in so many ways, and there's nothing that can be done about it. And I think seeing that and witnessing that and experiencing that creates this rich sense of empathy that we all have to connect. I think in our most human places, we all connect when we understand that this man is innocent, this is wrong. And I do believe that. I do believe witnessing something can help people connect in that way.
You know, Richard, for all of us who saw the movie growing up, obviously Scout is forever emblazoned in our head. Do you have any idea whatever happened to that woman, Mary Badham, who played Scout? Did she ever do anything else? What's her deal?
I'll let you in on a little secret.
Yeah.
Mary Badham is with us, as you know. Mary Badham is with us every night as the polar opposite of Scout Finch, playing the really rough tongued
racist dog is what she plays.
Mrs. DuBose. And what an incredible counterintuitive and brilliant piece of casting. I just want to add to what Yaegel said very briefly. He used the word empathy, and I think that's the great thing about theater is an empathy machine when it works, whether it's comedy, tragedy, so whatever it is. It's a picture of us as humans together that we experience in community together. And I think as an empathy machine, theater can affect people and can have them come out of the theater with a broader sense of their own humanity.
You know, Richard Thomas, I want to step back from this just for a minute. A couple of weeks ago, Stevie Van Zandt was with me, and we talked obviously about James Gandolfini and Tony Soprano. A week or two before that, Kiefer Sutherland was here, Jack Bauer. John Boyd, was there that point in your career that you thought you'd never be anybody but him? I'm serious, did that worry you as a young actor?
No, it never worried me.
Why?
First, for one thing, I've been working for a long time before I did that show. I did that. I started that series when I was 21, and I've been working since I was 6. Yeah. So I knew that it was, but however, even though it never worried me, I didn't think I was ever going to have a problem. I understood that it was going to take a lot of time to balance the scales if I could, and that I had to be patient with people, that if I was ready to make the change the day after I left the series, that the rest of the country wasn't necessarily going to be ready to make that change quite as quickly as I was. But if you just keep working at it, you know, and you just keep doing as many different things as you can, then you have the joy of a long and varied career. But I never thought I was going to suffer for that part ever.
So, Yaegel, you're going to be, and I don't know what the count is, I was counting them up this afternoon, 27 or 28 cities in 15 months. If you can raise your right hand and promise to tell the truth, is that joy or is it torture? Honestly.
Honestly, it's a yin and yang, you know. There's a way in which you are leaving a life that I love in New York, but the other part of it is I get to meet people from all across the country. I get to do what I've dreamt about doing, which is take an important play across the country and educate people and again, participate in building this sense of communal empathy. I get to try new food. I get to stay
food.
And yeah, all the food. I mean, I've had the best seafood in Boston. I was at Union Oyster House, the Capitol Grill, like places, things I would never get to do in New York City. And I'm really excited, for that and just the new experiences that we get to have on our day off. So it's a yin and yang, but it's not that I won't miss my life in New York because I will.
Richard, I'm sorry.
He's right.
On the same theme, Richard, Melanie Moore in that video I saw with Yaegel says that there is a bar, and I checked it out, she was telling the truth, in Cleveland called Goodnight John Boy. It's a dive bar, and I'm wondering, do you hide in your hotel room or do you actually go with your castmates?
I've never been. When I was last in Cleveland on the tour of the Humans, they were talking about opening it. Now there's also one, I think, in St. Petersburg, Florida, where we're not going to play. And I'm definitely going to have to go check it out. I don't know if it's a dive or not. I think it's more like a 70s disco vibe thing, which may not have much to do with Walton's Mountain. As long as I don't have to buy everybody in the place around, I'll be happy to come down.
Sounds like a good deal.
How can I not? I want us all to go down.
Hey, Richard and Yaegel, thanks for bringing an incredibly important story to life on the stage brilliantly. I really appreciate your time, both of you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.